They keep asking you that same question. Michael said that's not curiosity, it's control. It started around a date you can't forget, not because of the question itself, but because of the shift you felt in your spirit the moment it was asked. At first, you felt innocent, a sole curiosity, a passing question in a conversation that once felt genuine. But then, it came again, and again, and again. Same words, same phrase, but now it was laced with something colder, quieter, sharper. You felt it deep within your soul, that this wasn't curiosity anymore. It wasn't care. It wasn't concern. It was control. Heaven took notice. The records of heaven are not written in ink but in intention, and the intentions behind their questions have shifted. Archangel Michael has observed. He has been dispatched, not simply to guard you, but to wake you up to what's truly happening in the spirit. You are not paranoid. You are being spiritually observed, monitored, not by strangers, but by those who have access to your inner life, by those who once celebrated you, but now study you, by those who smile on the surface but probe beneath with every innocent question. They ask the same thing over and over, not to understand you better, but to track your growth, to see if you'll break your silence, to bait you into old patterns, to tether you back into a dynamic where they held power over your words, your choices, your future. This message is not for everyone. It is not for the masses. It is for you, the one who has sensed something shifting but couldn't quite name it, the one who has pulled back, not in bitterness but in wisdom, the one who has stopped oversharing because your spirit got quieter before your mouth ever did. You're not being dramatic. You're being directed. Michael hath been assigned to your case, not because of what you did wrong, but because of what you're doing right. You are becoming harder to read, and therefore harder to control. And that's exactly why they keep asking. This is your spiritual confirmation. If you felt watched in your stillness, studied in your silence, then this word is a lifeline sent from heaven. This is the divine interruption your soul has been waiting for. But don't answer them just yet. Hold your response. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain yourself. Don't give them what they're waiting for. Heaven needs your undivided attention before your next response sets your future in motion. There's a shift taking place in the atmosphere around you. Your restraint is being weaponized in the spirit, not for defeat but for victory. God is speaking through your stillness. The silence they misunderstand is the strategy God is anointing. Don't move until the Spirit gives permission. Don't respond until peace gives release. And don't doubt what you feel deep in your discernment. This message is a mirror to your inner knowing. The archangel stands guard now. The heavens have spoken. The case is open. The evidence is spiritual. And the verdict is forming. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Archangel Michael has been dispatched, not only as a shield, but as a revealer. He comes not just bearing his flaming sword, but the divine intelligence of heaven, sent specifically for you in this very hour. He stands at your side, not hovering as a vague spiritual idea, but standing in direct assignment over your name, over your mind, over your silence. This is not a general message. This is a spiritual interception with a timestamp from heaven. Within the next 48 hours, a familiar voice will rise again. A voice you know, a tone you've heard before. It will sound casual, even cordial, but you will feel the chill behind it. You will feel the same question, dressed in a new outfit. It will come with laughter, or concern, or a deceptive cloak of familiarity. But heaven is already alerting you. This is not harmless. This is a trigger disguised as a question. This moment is divine strategy. This is your spiritual interception. You are not overthinking. You are not being dramatic. You are not imagining the tension. You are not imagining the shift. You are not imagining the patterns. You are not paranoid. You are prophetic. What you sense in your chest before they speak is the spirit bearing witness before your brain can explain. What you feel behind the smile is the discernment rising up before the deception even finishes forming. The question was never really a question. It was a probe. And heaven is calling it out now. Michael stands beside your name. Not just near you, not just behind you, but assigned to you. This is personal. This is intentional. This is spiritual. The enemy have been watching how you respond, not just what you say, but what you don't say. Your silence hath been irritating their agenda. Because where you used to over-explain, now you sit quietly. Where you used to seek validation, now you seek God. And that makes you unpredictable to those who were used to controlling you. This isn't just about human personalities. It's about spiritual positions. Your growth has made you dangerous. Your restraint has made you effective. Your quiet has become your protection. And so, the questions return, not out of affection, but out of fear. They are not curious. They are concerned because you are no longer under their influence. This moment, this message, this pause, it's your divine moment of clarity. And heaven is giving you something you didn't know you needed. Permission not to answer. Permission not to engage. Permission to let your silence speak. Michael has not come to give you more words. He's come to give you more authority. Your stillness is not passivity. It is strategy. Heaven has chosen this method of warfare for a reason. God could have told you to confront. He could have told you to defend. He could have told you to fight. But instead, he told you to be still. Why? Because your obedience to silence will do more in the spirit than your explanations ever could. This silence is not weakness. It is alignment. It is trust. It is covenant. The less you say, the more heaven moves. The less you engage, the more angels are released on your behalf. You are being covered, not with noise, but with divine stillness. Right now, as you receive this word, there are spiritual entities moving, aligning, rearranging. There is a divine hush moving across your atmosphere. The enemy has launched his trap through repetition, the same question, again and again, hoping that your fatigue would open the door. But Michael says this is your moment to shut it for good. You don't need to explain. You don't need to respond. You don't need to give them another piece of your heart wrapped in words. You need only to obey. This message is not to stir fear, but to anchor you in truth. What is coming is subtle, but strategic. It will feel familiar, but your spirit will know the difference. Don't trust the voice. Trust the vibration it carries. Don't trust the question. Trust the timing behind it. Don't trust the appearance. Trust the discernment in your bones. And when it comes, and it will come, you will already be ready. Because Michael is with you. Because heaven has warned you. Because the Spirit has confirmed you. And because your obedience in silence is unlocking something far greater than validation. It's unlocking divine protection and future positioning. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Why do they keep asking that one question, again and again, as if the repetition will wear you down, as if saying it with a different tone, a softer look, or a forced smile will make it feel any less invasive? Why do they keep circling the same subject, pressing the same button, orbiting around your peace like it's something they have the right to access? It's not just habit. It's not just curiosity. It's a pattern, a spiritual pattern masked in relational familiarity. But let's call it what heaven calls it, a provocation. Archangel Michael reveals that their repetition is not by accident. It is intentional interference. Every time they bring up that same topic, every time they repeat that same phrase, every time they return to the same probing point, they are performing a ritual of control. They want to study your reaction. They want to measure your silence. They want to document your hesitation. They are not listening to your words. They are watching your body, your energy, your eyes, your soul. This isn't about information. It's about influence. They are trying to manage your emotions by disrupting your discernment. And if you're not spiritually alert, it will feel like a simple conversation. But what they are really doing is spiritually surveilling your transformation. The moment you decided to stop answering, stop explaining, stop offering them access, they noticed. And what do controllers do when they lose access? They start poking. They start watching. They start repeating. Heaven says you've been marked by the tension, that strange, quiet pressure you feel every time they bring it up. A chill that touches your chest when they laugh a little too hard. A tightening in your gut when they joke about something sacred to you. That instinct that makes you pull back just before you respond. That's not fear. That's Holy Spirit discernment. You are not weak. You are wiser now. What you feel when they speak is not confusion. It is revelation. Michael confirms. They know more than they admit, but less than they pretend. They are guessing, faying, feeling around in the dark, hoping to trip your trigger again. But you've changed. What used to move you no longer reaches you. What used to draw you and now sends up alarms. That's why they are asking again, because your stillness has unsettled their grip. The repetition is not a mistake. It is a spiritual tactic. They believe that if they can just break through the wall of your silence, they'll regain the upper hand. But what they don't understand is that your silence is not a wall. It is a weapon. What they perceive as distance is really divine covering. You've been wrapped in revelation, and now the old approach no longer works. You are being refined, tested, strengthened. This is not a coincidence. This is a calibration. Heaven is watching how you hold your peace. Angels are measuring your restraint. Your destiny is being carved out through what you don't say. So the next time they ask it, and they will, you will no longer be surprised. You will no longer be triggered. You will no longer be thrown off your center. Because now you know, it's not about you. It's about control. And you've already broken free. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly prophetic insight, spiritual guidance, and divine strategies sent right to your spirit. Type I am awake in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 has now been released. You are not just dealing with people. You are dealing with assignments. Archangel Michael makes it clear. This is more than manipulation. It is a spiritual probe. Every question they ask isn't just coming from their mind. It's being whispered to them from something far more ancient. Something strategic. Something designed to tether your destiny through subtle spiritual agreements. They are trying to bind you with your own words. That question they keep repeating is not random. It is weaponized. And if you answer too soon, if you answer from a place of exhaustion or doubt, you risk speaking something into agreement that heaven never authored. You risk surrendering ground that was never meant to be surrendered. Why? Because your destiny threatened their grip. Your silence has shifted the atmosphere, and your elevation has become undeniable. Even if you can't see the full picture yet, they can sense it. They sense your promotion. They sense your next level. They sense that the version of you they once manipulated is dying, and in its place, a new creature is emerging. One they can't control. One they can't predict. One they can't manipulate with old tactics. Heaven is not silent. It is strategic. God is allowing you to walk through this moment without clarity so that your ears will be attuned only to His voice. He is not ignoring you, He is arming you. You are being trained in the silence to handle your next season with authority. And the enemy knows it. So he sends the familiar voice, the familiar question, the comfortable trap. It doesn't come in fire, it comes in friendliness. It doesn't come in violence, it comes in conversation. But what feels casual is actually calculated. This is warfare, not a dialogue. This is not a conversation. This is a confrontation. When they ask again, remember, it's not just about what they are asking. It's about what they want you to give up in your answer. They want access. They want leverage. They want to insert confusion, to make you doubt your growth, to make you second-guess your silence. But Michael stands at the gate. He will not let the enemy cross into your mind unless you open the door. So don't open it. Don't hand over your peace. Don't trade your spiritual ground for emotional relief. Let them ask. Let them repeat. Let them wonder. You will know when your process. You will know when your journey. You will know when your response. Heaven says, let your no be silent. Let your yes be sacred. Let your peace be protected. You're not being tested by them. You're being entrusted by God. God trusts you to walk this stretch without clarity. He trusts you to hear the whisper above the noise. He trusts you to hold your mouth closed even when your heart wants to respond. Because He knows that your destiny requires discipline. And this discipline is a divine filter. Only the Spirit can interpret what's truly being asked, and only the Spirit can guide how you respond. So stand firm. Stay discerning. Stay hidden. Because the battlefield is not out there, it's in here. And you are not just in the fight, you are winning it. Type "I am shielded" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 4488 is now surrounding your decision. Within the next 72 hours, the question will come again. But this time, it won't be wrapped in casualness. It won't come wearing the face of concern or friendliness. It will come with urgency. It will come with pressure. It will come cloaked in crisis. This time, they won't be subtle. They'll be direct. And the intensity behind their words won't be because they care about your answer, but because your silence has unnerved their control. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of your decision. He warns, do not answer impulsively. Do not reply to calm the atmosphere. Do not break your silence to soften their reaction. What feels like a conversation will be a trap in disguise. Behind the urgency, There is a spiritual design, one crafted to destabilize your clarity, to shake your footing, to draw you back into old dynamics where they reigned over your emotions and dictated your responses. Heaven is giving you the blueprint now because what is coming will require stillness under pressure. It will require restraint when your soul wants to defend itself. It will require maturity when your flesh wants vindication. Because this is not about that moment. This is about your momentum. The enemy knows that if he can get you to respond from a wounded place, he can delay the very thing you've been anointed to walk into. This is not a warning meant to cause fear. It is a divine interception to secure your path. Michael says, they will shift the tone. They will raise the stakes. They will frame it like you owe them something. But I say to you, you owe them nothing but your obedience to God. You owe them nothing but your peace. You owe them nothing but your boundary, sealed in silence. Do not let urgency force you out of alignment. Do not let emotion override the whisper of the Spirit. Do not let the pressure to explain override your posture of power. What they want is not clarity, what they want is access. And the moment you offer it through a rushed response, you've reopened a door heaven is trying to shut for good. Let the storm rage outside your spirit. Let the questions echo unanswered. Let the tone grow impatient. Do not match their energy, rise above it. Stay seated in your authority. Your silence is not just a shield, it is a sword. It cuts through the manipulation. It dismantles the traps. It causes confusion in the camp of the enemy because they cannot fight what they cannot predict. There is spiritual pressure building, yes. But hear this. It is not yours to carry. You were not built to carry their projections. You were not called to carry their emotional instability. You were not chosen to be a repository for their control disguised as conversation. That weight is not yours. The pressure they carry is their own. Do not absorb it. You were called to peace. And this peace, the kind that surpasses understanding, will only stay if you refuse to trade it for approval. The battlefield is being set, but your position is already secured. The battle belongs to the Lord. Your only responsibility is obedience. So when the question comes, and it will, when the urgency rises, and it will, you must remember, you are not bound to respond. You are not obligated to open the door. You are not required to sacrifice your peace for their comfort. You are not called to manage their emotions at the cost of your own deliverance. Michael stands beside you, not as a spectator, but as a warrior. You will not be alone in this test. You will not be abandoned in this pressure. Heaven has already surrounded the moment with protection. But you must walk in the instructions you've been given. Stay silent. Stay sovereign. Stay steady. Type "I will not bow" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9999 has now fortified your boundaries. Heaven is not only warning you, heaven is guiding you. Archangel Michael brings more than a message. He brings marching orders. The next few days are not about surviving. They are about standing. Standing without fear. Standing without explanation. Standing in a stillness so powerful, it confuses every force that's tried to control you. Heaven says, be still. Your stillness is warfare. Stillness doesn't mean inaction. It means alignment. It means listening for God's breath before moving your own lips. It means waiting for divine peace before giving away your response. Stillness is your posture now. You are not hiding. You are not retreating. You are guarding what's sacred. Do not explain. Do not justify. Do not entertain what God is calling you to exit. This is not your moment to clear the air. This is not your assignment to heal their confusion. You are not responsible for their inability to process your transformation. They want words, but heaven wants worship. And your silence has become a holy sound in the spirit realm. Michael instructs you, pray before you reply. In every interaction, pause long enough for heaven to weigh in. Wait for the presence of peace before giving any piece of yourself. Don't allow their pressure to bypass your spiritual process. Their words may rush you, but your spirit must rule you. Watch their posture, not just their words. Watch their facial tension. Watch their timing. Watch how they react when you stay quiet. Your body language will reveal more than their lips. Your eyes will speak what their tongue will confess. Heaven says, discern the spiritual climate of the moment before engaging in the natural. This is the season where your restraint is your protection. This is not the time to expose yourself out of empathy. This is not the moment to overshare out of old habits. You are being trained to trust the covering more than the connection. Just because they were once safe doesn't mean they are still sanctioned. Michael has hidden you in plain sight. You're visible but inaccessible. Present but protected. The ones who used to know your every move now find you mysterious. The ones who used to manipulate your narrative can no longer access your responses. And that's divine. That's strategic. That's God. You don't owe them an explanation for your silence. You don't owe them an outline of your decisions. You don't owe them a translation of your transformation. You owe God your stillness. Stay quiet. Stay calm. Stay covered. This isn't about proving them wrong. It's about staying in alignment. It's not about defending your name. It's about preserving your assignment. Heaven says, speak only when peace confirms it. Speak only when the Spirit releases it. And until then, let stillness be your roar. Let silence be your fire. Let obedience be your language. Michael stands with you, his sword drawn, his wings spread, his authority unmatched. You are not walking blind. You are walking guided. You are not standing exposed. You are standing guarded. Let them misinterpret your silence. Let them grow anxious in your stillness. What they don't realize is that every word you withhold is building a wall of divine favor around your soul. Every answer you resist is anchoring your alignment. You are being led, not by impulse, but by instruction. Type I am still in the comments if this word confirms you. Lesson code 1155 is forming a shield of divine restraint around your voice. You are not powerless. You were never powerless, only position. What felt like isolation was actually insulation. What looked like rejection was really redirection. And now, as the same question returns, as the same manipulative spirit circles back around, you must remember what heaven is doing in you. You are being empowered in your stillness. The repetition of their inquiry is not a sign of your weakness. It is proof of your spiritual elevation. You have outgrown their tactics. What once triggered you now teaches you. What once ensnared you now alerts you. Heaven has matured your discernment, sharpened your spiritual reflexes, and stripped you of the need to be understood. And that, beloved, is power. That is growth. That is authority. Michael says, they're not asking because they don't know. They're asking because they've lost access. And that access, which they once used to manipulate, now stands revoked. They sense it. They feel it. And so they probe, trying to find a way back in. But heaven has placed a seal on you. You are not who you were, and the way you respond must reflect that truth. Your lack of reaction is not confusion. It is clarity. You have stepped out of their reach, not because you hate them, but because you've healed beyond their grasp. This season is not about confrontation. It's about completion. The cycle has ended. The test is over. The lesson has been learned. And your silence confirms that heaven has certified your graduation. This is the spiritual shift you didn't see coming. Your wings have been forming in silence. While they were monitoring your reactions, God was fortifying your spirit. While they were studying your silence, heaven was preparing your rise. The version of you they expected to answer is no longer available. The you who used to defend herself is gone. The one who used to explain, justify, break down every detail she's been buried. What stands in their place is someone reborn through silence, hardened in truth and softened in spirit. You are rising, not through applause, not through explanations, but through obedience. You are no longer predictable. You are no longer persuadable. You are no longer emotionally accessible to those who once drained your soul through familiar questions wrapped in control. This is your spiritual emancipation. Michael is watching as you step into this authority. You've been trusted with discomfort, not because you're being punished, but because you've been upgraded. You've been trusted with silence, not because you're being silenced, but because your voice now holds weight. God is showing you that power isn't loud. Power is still, focused, consecrated. You don't have to rehearse how you'll answer next time. You don't have to prepare a speech. You don't have to second-guess your silence. Heaven has already prepared your posture. When they come again, and they will, you will remain unmoved. And when you remain unmoved, the heavens will move for you. This is not weakness. This is your witness. You are transforming from reactive to rooted, from emotional to anchored, from afraid to aligned. Type "I am transformed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3030 is declaring divine elevation over your name. They sense it. Even before you fully realize what's shifting inside of you, they've already felt it. They don't know how to name it. They don't know how to define it. But their spirit senses what your heart is only beginning to grasp. You are being promoted in the spirit. Archangel Michael declares with piercing clarity, this questioning is part of your unlocking. It's not just about control. It's about confirmation. The enemy saw the signposts before you did. He sensed the favor forming. He sensed the angelic activity around your name. And so, in desperation, he sent out the only tactic he had left, the familiar voice with the familiar question, masked in the disguise of care but saturated with assignment. But God is flipping the strategy. The question they keep asking is not theirs. It's divine. It's heaven using the same tactic of the enemy as a test of your maturity. It's heaven measuring your readiness to walk in authority, not just operate in emotions. This is not about answering them. This is about answering heaven. How will you respond? In flesh, or in faith? Michael reveals, your silence is now making noise in the spirit realm. Angels have been dispatched not only to guard you, but to record what you don't say. Every withheld response is a declaration. Every moment you hold your peace is a prophecy. Every time you choose not to answer, you are answering heaven with obedience. You are saying, God, I trust you more than I trust my own vindication. You're not being quiet. You're being weaponized. This is your final test before the shift. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough, and the enemy has no new tactics left. So he returns to the oldest trick, distraction, provocation, a question that seems small, but in the spirit, it's massive. Because how you respond now determines the gates that open next. Heaven says, Do not waste this test. This is your divine crossroads. One path leads back to old cycles, powered by emotional reactions. The other leads forward, into deeper favor, divine access, and irreversible elevation. And the difference between the two is not dramatic. It's subtle. A word spoken too soon. A defense given too emotionally. A truth shared prematurely. That's all it takes to forfeit ground. But you won't. Because this time, you know the truth. The repetition of their question was not about clarity, it was about influence. But you are no longer influenced. You are anchored. And your silence is speaking louder than their questions ever could. Your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. Doors are opening while your mouth remains shut. Favor is forming while you obey in quietness. Heaven has marked this season for you. And the test, though small in appearance, is monumental in spiritual weight. You are standing in divine tension. You are in the silent space between heaven's whisper and earth's manifestation. You not break the silence with flesh. Wait until the Spirit speaks peace. Your stillness is not just defensive. It's prophetic. If this message stirred something deep in your spirit and you feel led to support, consider giving a super chat or a super thanks with offerings of $10. Every seed you sow helps us continue to speak truth and bring powerful prophetic content to others. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And don't forget to subscribe to receive regular divine strategies, exclusive messages, and spiritual insight for your journey forward. Type "I choose faith over flesh" in the comments. Blessing code 4141 has now opened a prophetic door over your silence. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the silence speaks louder than the storm. When the stillness becomes a declaration. When heaven demands not a performance, but a posture. And this, right here, right now, is that moment for you. This is not about the question they keep asking. This is about the covenant you are being called to uphold. The question was never theirs. The question is divine. Will you choose your old identity, or will you walk fully into your destiny? Archangel Michael stands with the scroll of your future, sealed by divine timing, untouched by manipulation, unshaken by human agendas. He says to you now, declare who you are, not with your mouth, but with your movement. You don't need another conversation. You don't need to break it down for them. You don't need to soften your boundary with reasoning. What you need is to walk. Walk like the one who knows they've been chosen. Move like the one who knows they've been marked. Operate like the one who knows they carry heaven's blueprint, because you do. Your destiny can't be debated. It was not up for public opinion. It was not submitted for emotional approval. It was not tied to anyone's comprehension. Your destiny was spoken over you before the foundation of the earth, and no amount of repeated questioning, relational guilt, or emotional manipulation can cancel what God has already written. Say yes, even if it means walking alone. This is the hour when God is requiring a private obedience before he releases public promotion. Don't wait for the crowd to clap. Don't wait for their questions to stop. Don't wait for peace with people to pursue peace with God. The shift has already begun. You are not who you were. You cannot answer like you used to. Your soul knows this. Your spirit confirms it. And heaven is watching your response in silence as your warfare of alignment. Heaven is not waiting for your explanation. It is waiting for your execution. You've already been spiritually rerouted. That's why nothing feels the same anymore. That's why the conversations fall flat. It's why the questions feel more like surveillance than support. You have crossed into the frequency of destiny, and when that happens, the noise of the old world becomes unbearable. The patterns of the past become agitating. The repetition of their questioning no longer sounds like curiosity. It sounds like control. It smells like bondage. And you were never built to stay in bondage. Heaven says, break agreement with the old version of you. Declare, I am aligned. I am untouchable. I'm chosen. Not with arrogance, but with assurance. Not with ego, but with identity. This is not about proving yourself to them. This is about proving yourself faithful to God. When you don't respond, you are responding to a higher authority. When you walk away, you are walking toward divine fullness. When you hold your peace, you are speaking a spiritual language louder than words. You are not who they remember. You are not who they once controlled. You are not who they used to manipulate. You are becoming. You are awakening. You are stepping into divine synchronization. Let them ask. Let them repeat. Let them watch. Because heaven is watching too. And heaven will honor what you do in silence, not what you feel pressured to say. Say yes to the discomfort. Say yes to the shift. Say yes to the uncertainty. Because even when your path feels unclear, your spirit knows the direction. And heaven is waiting for your obedience, not your perfection. It is your obedience in the small, hidden decisions that activate supernatural elevation. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are being aligned in ways the natural mind cannot grasp. So move like the one you're becoming, not like the one they keep questioning. Type I am aligned in the comments if this word confirms your next move. Blessing code 5225 is unlocking the gates of forward motion. While you've been quiet, heaven has been loud. While you've been still, the angels have been active. While you've been saying nothing, the Spirit has been saying everything on your behalf. There is an invisible courtroom, a holy exchange, an unseen negotiation happening in the spirit realm, and you, beloved, have been the focal point. Archangel Michael reveals this. Every word you withheld, every explanation you resisted, every question you didn't entertain, it all became currency in the hands of heaven. What you didn't say has become a powerful intercession. What you didn't explain has turned into divine testimony. And what you let go of, that craving to be understood, that urge to answer back, it's now returning to you as spiritual favor. You've made a holy trade, silence for strength, stillness for strategy, restraint for revelation. And while they were trying to pull you back into the pattern, while they were repeating their question to see if your boundaries would break, God was watching to see if your spirit would stand. You passed the test. Michael says, heaven took notes when you didn't respond. Every moment you refused to be baited, heaven recorded it. Every time you chose to walk away instead of debate, the angelic scribes marked it. Every time you cried in secret but held your posture in public, God saw it, and multiplied favor has been released on your behalf. What you thought was weakness was actually warfare. What you mistook for loneliness was divine protection. What felt like silence was the sound of victory being written in the heavens. You are not losing. You are being positioned. Positioned for authority. Positioned for clarity. Positioned for encounters you couldn't have walked into if you had spoken too soon. Had you answered them, you might have given the enemy access to interpret your promise prematurely. But because you waited, because you trusted, God is rewarding you. There are conversations being held in the heavens right now where your name is being mentioned with reverence. Doors are opening for you because you close your mouth when your flesh wanted to open it. Chains are breaking because you refuse to re-engage the past through unnecessary words. There is divine justice moving silently on your behalf. You don't need to see it to believe it. The wind doesn't announce itself before it arrives, and yet when it touches the earth, everything moves. So it is with what's happening in the spirit realm. You will feel the shift. You will sense the change. And it will be unmistakable. You gave up being understood, and now you are being elevated. You gave up needing closure, and now you are stepping into clarity. You gave up needing control, and now you walk in covenant. Let this be your confirmation. Heaven is rewriting your narrative. You are no longer the one who explains everything. You are no longer the one who reacts to pressure. You are no longer the one who folds under emotional warfare. You are the one who waits in silence and wins in spirit. Michael stands over this moment with authority, declaring, what they tried to confuse is now being clarified. What they tried to monitor is now being mirrored in glory. What they tried to question is now being sealed with favor. What you withheld in silence will be repaid in power. There is no need to rehearse your words anymore. No need to defend your choices. No need to prepare a counter-argument. Heaven has already answered for you. Let the stillness stay. Let the silence continue to speak. Let the Spirit finish what your flesh never could. Type I am sealed in silence in the comments if this is for you. Blessing code 8282 is now echoing your name through heaven's halls. Justice is not always loud. Sometimes it comes dressed in silence, cloaked in calm, delivered in stillness. And what they thought they were getting away with, heaven never missed. What they plotted in repetition, what they cloaked in concern, what they disguised as curiosity, God has seen it all. Archangel Michael now stands not just as protector, but as witness and executor of divine justice. Every repeated question, every emotionally loaded phrase, every time they used familiarity to gain access to your soul, every moment they tried to twist your words back into bondage, heaven recorded it. And now, the balance is tipping. Now, the reversal is beginning. And now, the same thing they used to try and trap you will become the very mechanism by which God exposes them. Michael announces with divine fire, what they meant for control, God is flipping for clarity. Your silence was not submission. Your stillness was not defeat. It was a courtroom of consecration. While they thought they were gaining ground through subtle interrogation, you were being built into a fortress of discernment. You were not losing ground. You were becoming unshakable. And now, that shift is about to go public. The ones who question you will soon witness your elevation. The ones who thought they had you pegged, who thought they had you figured out, will no longer be able to recognize you. Because what heaven is doing in you now will not be hidden. This is not a private vindication. This is a divine reversal. The questions they used to rattle you, now they haunt them. The control they thought they had now slips through their fingers. The influence they once held now turned back on their own motives. God is balancing the scales, and the weight of it is holy. This is not petty revenge. This is heavenly recompense. This is divine order being restored. And your name, yes, your name, is being lifted not through manipulation but through mantling. You are being mantled with honor, mantled with visibility, mantled with the authority of those who stayed silent when they had every reason to speak. Michael says, every word will be reversed, every accusation, every misunderstanding, every twisted narrative, every question meant to reduce you, every assumption rooted in insecurity, all of it reversed. The same mouths that once spread confusion about you will now be silent in awe. The same people who asked to monitor your movements will now witness your miracles. What they once questioned will become your testimony, not because you defended yourself, but because you refused to descend into their drama. You chose elevation over explanation, obedience over optics, kingdom over chaos. And now, God is honoring you in front of those who questioned you. Your name will rise, not for their approval, but for heaven's purposes. And their grip will break. That invisible string they used to pull your emotions, that spiritual hook disguised as conversation, it will snap in this season. It will crumble under the weight of your maturity. You are no longer responding as their puppet. You are moving as God's prophet. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them sit in the silence they used to weaponize. Because the Lord has ruled in your favor. If this word confirms what's been stirring in your soul, consider showing your support through a super chat or super thanks. Even a simple gift of $5 helps us bring more prophetic truth to this platform. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of spiritual instruction, breakthrough revelation, and divine empowerment. Type "I am vindicated" in the comments if this word has spoken to your situation. Blessing code 7474 is releasing justice in your atmosphere. You are not under control. You are under covenant. That's the final word. That's the final seal. That's the final authority. You are not a victim of manipulation, nor are you a prisoner of interrogation. You are not at the mercy of their repetition. You are not obligated to their question. You are not beholden to their tone. You are bound only to God, only to truth, only to obedience, only to purpose. Michael surrounds you now, not as a passive guardian, but as a warring archangel who has walked with you through the battlefield of silence. He has watched you choose wisdom over reaction. He has seen you tremble under pressure, yet remain grounded in peace. He has stood beside you in your quiet victories. And now he stands above you with a declaration. You are sealed, you are seen, you are sent. Heaven has already judged the case. The verdict has been rendered. You are not guilty. You are not behind. You are not losing. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Heaven has weighed your restraint and found it righteous. Heaven has tested your silence and found it holy. Heaven has observed your boundaries and called them blessed. This moment is not the end of a battle. It is the beginning of reign. From this point forward, you walk differently. You speak differently. You move with measured purpose. You no longer explain yourself to people who are not assigned to your journey. You no longer respond to voices heaven did not send. You no longer submit to questions that seek to destabilize your spirit. You answer to God alone. Let every voice that sought to diminish your destiny fall silent now. Let every spirit that tried to question your worth be muted. Let every manipulative scheme that used familiarity as a cloak now dissolve under the light of divine truth. You are rising. You are covered. You are chosen. You are not who they thought. You are who heaven confirmed. Let the questions cease. Let the accusations be silenced. Let the warfare pass. And now comes the reward. Now comes the restoration. Now comes the recompense. You have endured the fire of interrogation, and now you walk in the glory of divine affirmation. So breathe. Be still. And know, not guess, not hope, Know that He is God, that He is faithful, that He is fighting for you. And now, it is done. Type IT is done in the comments. Blessing code 2025 is the file seal over this message. The year of reversal, the year of rain, the year of release.